This is the Stank of the South radio show right here on TSSN Online Radio. Today in the studio, we've got Shawn Cooley, up-and-coming hip-hop artist from Dunlap, Tennessee, right there, born and raised in the Sequatchie Valley. We'll have him on today. Also, we'll talk Marion County and their title run. What should they do to win the big one? And also, we'll talk about Mark Richt and his move to Miami. Will it be successful? Could it go bad? Or will we see another 30 for 30 on the storied program? Also on the slate, we've got Sequatchie Valley basketball. Is Van Buren way too dominant? Is Bledsoe County too far behind the curve? All of that and more right here on the Stank of the South radio show, brought to you by TSSN Radio. And I'm Chandler Morrison here, and sorry if I woke you up there being too loud. I'm here on TSSN Radio for the Stank of the South radio show. I've got Shawn Cooley in the studio. We'll get to him in just a little bit. But first, I have to talk about it's the inevitable question, especially with their success here in the past year, Marion County. I feel bad for them. They played Treasevant in the state championship, and they lost, I believe, 40-35 was the final score. Close game. They came back from a 14-point lead twice in that game. Twice. I got Shawn Cooley over here shaking his head. It's just one of these things you look over and you're like, oh, man. You feel bad for them. Last year, they got blown up by Peabody. Yeah, Peabody was good. They were on a run. But you thought, you know what? This year is Marion's year. They're going to go. They're going to win it. They're going to go in there. They're going to rally the troops. They're going to get in there and win it. Nope. Not so fast. You know, and the reason they've had such a great run is for one reason, by the way, and I won't get to this before I get into what they need to change, which is not a lot for a good program. But this is the reason why Marion County has success this year. Here's Coach Ross talking about, you know, the Bryce Massengale, Logan Walters quarterback situation.
I laid awake a lot of nights thinking, you know, my son's name's Hayden, thinking, you know, how do you tell a kid that he's really done nothing wrong and he's not going to be your quarterback. But I just felt like the experience of what he brings, and he's played a lot of quarterback, added some things to our package. But all of it would never be successful if you didn't have a young man like Bryce that his character is unbelievable. And he just does what we ask him to do, and you can see he's so instrumental in our whole package.
Bryce Massengale, Logan Walters. By the way, Bryce Massengale, he was a junior. He took his team as a quarterback to the state championship. Lost in the state championship, but still impressive. Logan Walters takes over in the offseason. By the way, he's an Alabama transfer. I believe he was from Stevenson, Alabama. For Bryce, you know, I mean, I'm not saying he had a choice in the matter, but I'm just saying for him to just say, look, I'm going to do what I need to do so we can win a state championship, that's a big, big character boost to the team. That's a big, big morale booster. Because not only do you have Logan Walters, who's the new leader, you got Bryce Massengale, who's sitting out here at wideout, who's leading, who's going out on defense and leading. And I think that was the key of their success this year, and I think that's a really, really great story. And for Ross to sit there and talk about it, you know, later in the season, looking back, saying, you know, that's one of the reasons we won this year. That's one of the reasons we were successful. That's huge. You know, and I see Ross, he's definitely at this program. He's definitely there and going to stay there. I don't see him leaving anytime soon unless the school burns down and their whole starting line just quits or something. I don't see that happening. And by the way, neither of those two are likely, in case you're wondering. I just don't think that he'll leave. But there's got to be some changes, okay? He's got to look at his schedule, and he's got to change his schedule around. But you're sitting there saying, hold on, Chandler, wait. They have the toughest schedule I've seen in my life. They have to play in District 3 2A, which is the toughest district in Class 2A. And by the way, have you looked at Treasevant's region, excuse me? The second best team in that region. There were 4 or 5 teams in that region. The second best team lost to Treasevant by 39 points. 39 points. No one gave Treasevant a real game until late in the playoffs. Manassas. They played on 22-20. And then Marion County in the state playoffs, in the state championship, excuse me. That's not a tough region. Tough region is Boyd Buchanan, Tyner, Marion County, And then Bledsoe County stacked in there. I don't think they're one of the top teams. They're that second tier. There's those top three in the second tier. Second tier, you have Bledsoe County, Meigs County, and Brainerd. Then under that, you have Polk County and Silverdale. Bledsoe County is in any other region. They're the second team. I'm not saying they're the first team. I'm saying they're the second team in the region, no doubt. Forest region, they're the second team in the region. Lost 28-13 first round of the playoffs. Okay, you got that. Then you've got in Marion County schedule. You have 8 teams in that region, so 7 teams you're having to play already. They're already on your schedule. You can't help it. Another rival, South Pittsburgh. You can't take them off the schedule. You can't. That's just if you live in the Sequatchie Valley, it's like taking Bledsoe away from Sequatchie. You can't do that. You can't take them off the schedule. All right, so you're down to 2 games that you can schedule. Grundy County, that's a rival. I think what you do, and you can't do it this year. I'll go ahead and tell you, you cannot do it this year because I believe they do a home and a home for this. They try to schedule 2 years instead of 1 year. And so you play at one person's home, you play at another person's home on their home field. So I will say that it may be a little bit impossible to do this year, but next year what you need to do is, especially if you lose again in the state championship, which is bound to happen with these Memphis teams, with these West Tennessee teams, you need to change your schedule around. And I'm saying you take Grundy, you trade them for a Whitwell or a Sequatchie, which are both doing pretty good right now. Whitwell got to the second round of the playoffs before being blown out, but that was to Columbia Academy, who blew South Pittsburgh out. Sequatchie County got blown out by Notre Dame. You can't help that. I mean, that's just one of those situations where Notre Dame's a better team. Notre Dame a great program, and there's still a gap there, I believe. Alcoa 42-2 over Notre Dame, and Notre Dame blows out Upperman, blows out Sequatchie County. But the point is, you got a schedule. Now, you got Grundy County. You trade them for a Sequatchie County Whitwell. All right, you're down to 1 game that you can use for some kind of game. They played Hickson this year, 4A. Hickson 4A, yeah, I give it to them. Hickson was down this year. Hickson about got into the playoffs, even though they went like 0-6 to start the season. That's how bad that I'm not saying that's how bad that region was, but it wasn't the best region in the world. East Hamilton was the top of it. It was a one-horse region, I believe. But you look over and you got 1 game. I think you trade Hickson, you go play Trezevant. Why? If they got a lot of their seniors, they return a lot of people, go play them right now. Because even if they lose in the playoffs, you play somebody else, someone had to beat Trezevant to get there. And so you know what it takes to beat Trezevant, and you know what Trezevant did to play them. And now you know what you got to beat. You have common opponents on film. When you have a common opponent on film, it makes a world of difference. Because you've been on the field with them, you've been on the field looking at them, and now you get to see someone else play them. That's the deal. I think that's one of the things you got to do. You need to schedule a West Tennessee team or 2. I think you can only schedule 1 with the schedule they have. Maybe not Trezevant. Maybe someone look on Trezevant's schedule. Look on Trezevant and Peabody's schedule, and look and see if there's a common opponent that beat them by 40. Go play them. See if you can stack up against them. Even if you lose, it's going to be close. Even if you lose, you take away that experience. And we all know how much Coach Ross wants experience for his team. That's just the bottom line. For God's sake, go play Alcoa. Then maybe Notre Dame will fear you. Then maybe Sequatchie County will be scared of you too, which they already are. I'm not going to lie. Sean's over here nodding his head yes. But, I think they need to, maybe a scrimmage. Maybe if you can't, maybe scrimmage. Maybe find a team that's in Middle Tennessee and say, look, we want to scrimmage you and we want to scrimmage Trezevant. We're going to bring them over here. And you're going to play both of us. All right, good. 3-team, boom. You got a scrimmage before the season. You're playing one of the top teams in the state. And honestly, you have to kick Grundy County, honestly. I'm not saying kick them. I'm saying if you want to schedule a Memphis team, I would kick Grundy County. That way you have 3 open dates. You could schedule someone out in West Tennessee. That's what I'm saying. That's my little rant for the day. I figured I would talk about this. And Marion County, very, very good team. I think they'll be there next year. That region, still one of the toughest you'll see. I can attest to seeing, I've watched Boyd, I've watched Tyner, I've watched Marion, I've watched Bledsoe, the top 4 teams in that district. There's no comparison across the state to have those four teams, your top team. Yeah, Bledsoe County kind of down. I'll say they're a second-tier team. But out of the three, Marion County, Boyd, and Tyner, whoever won that was going to the state championship. Now, I'm not saying they would have beat Trezevant, but they were going to the state championship. Marion County blew Hampton out in the semifinals. Boyd would have. Tyner would have. Tyner would have probably had a closer game. They were a little bit more undisciplined, I would say. They got some things going. But, you know, I feel for Marion County. I wish you the best next year. And I hope that you get there because for all us guys in the Sequatchie Valley, we're rooting for you. We're rooting for you. And by the way, I want to talk about this for a second. Marion County's got, and these Valley teams have to get out of the mindset that the Valley's the only thing that matters. And that's true. I mean, Bledsoe County goes play Sequatchie County. That's all that matters all year. Marion County plays South Pittsburgh. That's the only thing that matters all year. Well, apparently not. They went to state championship. But we got to realize that we got to schedule. We can't just stick to the Valley teams. We can stick with the rivals. That's fine. Get one rival, pick them, stick with them. But other than that, get on with yourself. Go schedule these harder teams. Go out and schedule, you know, if you're Bledsoe County, go out and schedule Upperman, who played Sequatchie County. Go out and schedule Alcoa. You might get blown out 42. Go schedule them. Make your program better. You know who's doing that? Red Bank's doing that. 3 teams were on their schedule that you knew they had no chance against, even as good as Red Bank was. The coach there, he said, you know what, we'll schedule Baylor, we'll schedule McCauley, and we'll schedule Alcoa. We're looking over, we're thinking, that's 3 direct losses. Yeah, but it's a lot of experience for that coach. Go out and schedule somebody. You're in the Sequatchie Valley, go out and schedule someone. And I know you may not be able to do it this year. 2 years from now, go schedule somebody. Go schedule somebody that's not going to knock your socks off, that you can knock their socks off. Get somebody competitive. You don't go out and schedule a cupcake. Sequatchie County has done that several times. They went out and scheduled York. They got beat 4-6 one year. I remember that. Went out and scheduled Community, which that was kind of a weird schedule, and that was the only thing they could schedule. Go out and schedule Community, first game of the year. That was a cupcake. Don't do that. Go out and schedule someone that's hard. For Pete's sake, Baylor's always wanting somebody to beat up on. Go schedule Baylor. Play them. Show them you're not scared of them. Go schedule McCauley. Show them you're not scared of them. You may lose 20 points. Go schedule them. Coming up, we got Shawn Cooley in the studio. We're going to talk to him about his music. Some Tennessee football. It's always good for that. And we got to play some of his songs, talk about his music, talk about some of his albums coming out. You know, he's always fun to work with there. And right now we're going to send it off. This is Let 'Em, featuring Illuminate by Shawn Cooley. We're going to send it out to that. We'll see you on the flip side of the break.
Let him in, I'm in the let him in, about to put the let in him like I'm gonna get a name, anyone better than me. Top notch, knock, turn a whip with a drop top, and I got the top spot, evidently, you ain't seen the evidence, it's evidence, and you're paying for every dent that I throw down, but it goes down, and now it's so hard to beat us. Some of these people act sheepish, won't pull it on, but their eyes tell them all they can spar with a demon. I never made a move without a reason, why? Cause I gotta be ready to defend my work. And everybody working for the season, but I'm in it for the long haul. Double up, double cup, that's all y'all, not mine. Drop hotlines when I write my burst of a Dutch and a quartz and a limelight. I can body anybody that wanna get a piece of this, and you really need it. But eventually you see the all my enemies get done up. One up, work from night till sun up. Fighting these rappers and all of them about to get sunned up. Hold up. You can catch me on the road, alright? Let them talk and let them hate cause it gets sold, alright? Got a finger for the critics I can show, alright? So when we come back to the city, we gon' go all night. I've been chillin' all day. Let them talk, let them hate. Let them. I've been chillin' all day. Let them talk, let them hate. Let them. Look, yeah. I've been chillin' all day. Let them talk, let them hate. I'm just trying to be the dope. I'm just trying to make a way. I'm I'm just trying to be the one, doing something that they can't. I'm just trying to let that money talk. I'm trying to break the bank. I've been chilling all day. Let them talk, let them hate. I'm just trying to be the dopest. I'm just trying to make a way. I'm just trying to be the one, doing something that they can't. I'm just trying to let that money talk. I'm trying to break the bank. Back in it like an ad-lib. Get it? No cap, I get flat bills. Fit it? No doubt, I got mad skills. Living at it, running back like a backfield Smith. Emmett, what you know better, kid from the six. They was laughing at me, calling me a hit. They got it right, I'm a redneck, and they can tell that, cause I eat my beans a cornbread mix. I'm on fire. My flow need a fire. I've never been the type to roll green, smoke trees. To get wild going, I don't need a bonsai. Let me get it, I promise I get it poppin'. I probably on the top of them, rapping around and I gotta give me another hit, I'ma be there. Let me be clear, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. Back with a rap, got a knack for the facts. I'm that representing in the back of the class. Out rapping, don't make them blue and black on the track. I got drop, whooping like a cat, they lack. A real individual reaching this pinnacle, then I'ma blow. Yeah, I be spiritual, kill every syllable, leave them like wow. Yes, man, I be that kid who be rapping. White skin make you wonder how does that be. Total package, present for the laughter, but now they ain't laughing. Then I'ma give the rapper, but it really don't matter. I put them on my platter, I send them upstream without a paddle. But I'm still hungry, so I'm eating every rapper. Never mind, I call them actors. Never mind, I call them faggots. My bad is that's offensive. See, the thing is, I can't apologize. I can't turn back. I'm already 20 bars in it. Ain't that a challenge? Y'all need a triple beam to find the balance. Y'all don't understand that this is war, so what you doing? Bringing that weak ammo to the battle. I've been chilling all day. Let them talk, let them hate. Let them. I've been chilling all day. Let them talk, let them hate. Let them. Yeah. I've been chilling all day. Let them talk, let them hate. I'm just trying to be the dopest. I'm just trying to make a way. I'm just trying to be the one, doing something that they can't. I'm just trying to let that money talk. I'm trying to break the bank.
I've been chilling all day. Let them talk, let them hate. I'm just trying to be the dopest. I'm just trying to make a way. I'm just trying to be the one, doing something that they can't. I'm just trying to let that money talk. I'm trying to break the bank.
And we're back here on TSSN Radio. I'm Chandler Morrison here with Shawn Cooley for the Stank of the South radio show. Shawn, you've been at this for a while, haven't you?
I have. Seems like too long sometimes.
So when did you start? How did you get your start?
I started as a joke, actually. When I was a senior in high school, there was a kid that I'm not going to name any names, but we didn't pick on him, but we was always like, he always tried to rap. So I was like, I can rap better than you. I'm not even a rapper. And then I started, and I was like, actually, this is kind of cool. So then I figured out how to record and stuff, and I fell in love with it. So here I am.
And I noticed I used to kind of rap a little bit. But, it's kind of one of these things, you get to it, and it's kind of addicting, ain't it?
Yeah. I literally haven't stopped since 2011. That's when I graduated. It's almost been 5 years. Holy crap. But, yeah, literally, I started taking it serious in 2013 probably because I made the move from Chattanooga to Murfreesboro to pursue that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
So, speaking of Murfreesboro, you go to MTSU.
I do.
And majoring in audio production.
That's true.
How is that up there?
It's actually really cool. They have many eight professional studios. They have Pro Tools classes. They have anything you can really think of. So it's been a really good experience for me, and I have one more semester, so I'll be graduating in May.
So what are you going to do as soon as you graduate?
I have no idea. I'm just kidding. I'm going to try to find a studio job at first and keep doing music and try to blow up soon. That's really all I can do. Just work. It takes money to make money, so you got to make it.
Now, you were telling me a story earlier about while you were at MTSU in a class. Yeah. I just want you to share this story.
Okay. So I'm taking a hip hop class. I actually took my final last week.
How does that work? How does a hip hop class work?
It's hip hop culture and just really just everything, all aspects. It's poetry. It's culture. It's everything. Talks about all the elements of hip hop. It's really cool. But the ending project was to present a song, and me being one of the only white kids in there, and talking like I do, I presented my song, and I had some looks of like, what the crap just happened? Like they had no idea that I even rapped or even was even good at all. But this girl said, "You sound like you're from South Alabama," and that made me realize that I sound like this. So
I tried this one chili and it set my mouth on fire, and I had to drink a 2-liter of Mountain Dew.
This is what I sound like to this girl. And that alarms me a lot that I need to work on my voice. But, I mean, it was really cool. Everybody seemed to like it. So, that was...
Now, are you a Mountain Dew or a Sun-Drop person?
I'm more of a Sun-Drop guy. I mean, I can drink anything, really. Mm-hmm. But I like Sun-Drop a little better than Mountain Dew, so it might have been a little different than that.
All right, give us your best Sun-Drop impression of that.
What did he say? I don't even know what he said.
All right, I'll play it again for you.
I tried this one chili and it set my mouth on fire, and I had to drink a 2-liter of Mountain Dew.
I tried this. I can't do it, dude. I refuse. It's not in my rider. I refuse.
Oh, babe.
I refuse.
Well, talking as a musician, it's kind of a cliche question. You probably get asked it a lot, but who are your influences?
That's influences that begins from my parents, really. My parents, they've been through a lot. Dad's been in a wheelchair since I was 1. My mom has fought 3 brain tumors and cancer, and 1. Thank God. And really just people who supported me from my church, and obviously musical influences. Eminem is one, obviously. I love him. J. Cole, really like what he's doing. Logic, I feel I sound a lot like Logic does. I also like a lot of Christian rappers as well. I feel they don't get the respect that some deserve, really. NF, I've really started listening to him a little bit. Andy Mineo, Lecrae, just a lot of those guys. I try to incorporate all of that into one sound, and me being from the South, having a little bit of Southern influence in there, maybe not as much as what you just heard that guy sound like. No hick hop.
So we're gonna hear like that sound bite on one of your next tracks.
I'd probably get sued or something if I put that on there. I don't know if they'd like that too much.
Understand. So talking about the music and it kind of being you're kind of breaking the mold a little bit, kind of looking in there, just because you got not only you're white, not only from the South, but you're a Christian, and you're not a Christian rapper.
Exactly.
Like you were talking about.
Right. I try to make real music, and that's just me me being me, and I'm telling stories of what I've been through, what I see other people go through. And that's not all. I mean, people get the impression that a Christian has to always talk about Jesus, always has to talk about God, and that's really important to talk about. But I like to have fun with it. I like to just tell stories of my childhood, my past, my present, and the future that I see myself going into. So that's really what I just try to do. I'm a Christian that raps, not a Christian rapper.
Mm-hmm. So talking about that, wow, that's a blur sound.
I like it.
Talking about that, your gig, the kind of gigs that you do you kind of go in between? Do you do any churches? Do you go out in the bar? Where are you at?
I'm anywhere you want me to be. Usually, I'm not going to change my content for anybody. I mean, if a church wants to have me, I'm gonna talk about what I'm gonna talk about. I'm probably gonna be more Jesus-y, more God, more God influenced if I'm in a church. But if I'm in a bar, I'm not going to be talking about getting drunk because I just don't do that. It's not the thing for me. Other people do. That's cool. I mean, that's whatever you want to do. But I'm just going to be talking about real stuff. I mean, I've been to bars. I've been to clubs and performed. I've been to outdoor events. We had a really cool event in 2014. Yeah, 2014 in May. We had a benefit for suicide awareness, and it was in Bledsoe County actually, and we had 350 to 400 people show up, and it was really cool. We had all genres though, so I mean you get what you get with me. I'm not really changing my content for anybody.
And talking about all that, and you get to work with a lot of people in this business. Who is probably, I'm not going to say a favorite, top 3. Give me your top 3 that you've worked with.
It's always fun to work with a friend that's been with you from the beginning, and I'll name 3 from the beginning, and then I'll name a couple more. Like Harrison Murphy sings with me, raps with me, done it since the beginning. Garth Pendergrass has been the same way. Eddie McAvally, as he's known as. Jared Patmore, he doesn't rap much anymore because he's busy, he's working and stuff. He's trying to take care of a family, but he's always been with me from the beginning. Illuminate, he's my roommate or my housemate. We live in Murfreesboro together. Very talented individual. Go check out his stuff on YouTube and SoundCloud. And who else? I like working with singers. Like probably one of my favorite guys to work with is Matt Brock. That's just because he's country as cornbread. He might get mad for me saying that, but he's a really good guy. He's a police officer. I respect that. Just got out of the academy, so congratulations. We've got a few new things on the way. We've got a few old things that we're going to play for you today, so that'll be some of the guys. There's others as well, but I don't want to.
There's always too many. Anytime you do an album, there's always so many people to thank.
Exactly.
You open the front album cover, you see you always see these artists. They're thanking it. They're thanking everybody. Yeah. But that never is the full list.
I forget. Every time I print one up, I'm like, crap, I forgot 30 people. And they're going to be mad at me. But
yeah, I think you could title it all when you put everybody from the Sequatchie Valley.
Yeah, that's what I did. I just said everybody.
And I forgot to, but I was going to bring the actual hard copy disc of Dreamcatcher. I have it. I still have it at my house. I went and got it from you one day in the Walmart parking lot. Right. I just went and bought it. It shows you Shawn Cooley, real sensible guy, will do anything he needs to go out there and get you what you need.
Exactly.
Even if it has to happen in the back of Walmart parking lot.
Exactly. Made many sales. Made many sales in the back of Walmart.
You just, hey, I got a CD for you.
Where it looks like a drug deal. And get pulled over. That'd be awesome.
They just hear you talk and they say, all right, you're good to go?
Yeah. They usually just see me. They know who I am. He ain't got anything.
Yeah, he got anything. He got music. He ain't got anything else. But we're going to play a song here. It's called Walk Alone featuring, Matt Brock. You want to say anything about this before we go on?
Just listen to the words. That's all I got to say. Just listen to it and vibe with it.
All right, we'll be right back.
Guess it's back to the basics. I'm never satisfied. A mood you'll never see is complacency. Just be patient with me, pace with me, pray with me. This one's for the ones who chase women and relate with me. I'll be straight with you. Lately I've been on the edge. Mama diagnosed again. My feet just dangle off the ledge. Homies killing one another, kill themselves for something less. Put my faith in Jesus Christ. Satan's winning the game of chess. I know that things will be alright. I don't show up, but I'm scared I might not make it through the night. Keep emotions in check, never let you see me cry. That's the life that I've been living. Sometimes I have too much pride, but can't nobody tell me nothing. I can read the writing on the wall. Yeah, you gotta start from something. I'm on this road and I'm all alone. Can't nobody tell me nothing. I can read the writing on the wall. Yeah, you gotta start from something. I'm on this road and I walk alone. I'm on this road and I walk alone. I'm on this road and I walk alone. Yeah, ain't nobody tell me nothing. I'm on this road and I walk alone. I leave my heart on the mic. Probably still don't have your respect. Sometimes I wonder, is it worth it? Will I live to regret the fact that I show friends and family unintended neglect? I swear, I promise I don't mean it. I'm just trying to make you proud. I ain't in it
for the fame, I ain't in it for the power. Every time I lose myself, I play a beat that I ain't found. I'm just trying to make a name and show the world just who I am. It's cool,
but can't nobody tell me nothing. I can read the writing on the wall. Yeah, you gotta start from something. I'm on this road and I'm all alone. Can't nobody tell me nothing. I can read the writing on the wall. Yeah, you gotta start from something. I'm on this road and I walk alone. I'm on this road and I walk alone. I'm on this road and I walk alone. Ain't nobody tell me nothing. I'm on this road and I walk alone.
All right, and we're back here on the Stank of the South radio show, TSSN Radio, online radio, here with Mr. Shawn Cooley. And Shawn, what went into that song?
A whole lot of heart.
And by the way, that was Walk Alone with Shawn Cooley featuring Matt Brock.
A whole lot of heart, really. If you listen to it, I'm talking about some personal issues that I fight with. The second verse, me being my self-esteem being a little low. But getting through it, my first verse really talking about my mother, situation she's been through and kind of the whole thing. But just a lot of heart and just something for the people to hear and relate to a little bit.
And you kind of, and do you prefer like these songs where you get to have a lot of emotion, get to put that in? Because a lot of times you don't get to do that with a lot of songs.
I love it. I love painting a picture for people, but I mean, it's obvious with music the way it is now. A lot of people don't like that as much. They wanna be popping bottles and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna be doing that. But yeah, I enjoy it a lot.
You know, and going some of your other songs, we got to talk about Dreamcatcher. That was one of the big. That was your second album, or
I have a lot of albums. Like
yeah,
that's really probably my second one that I took serious. It's a mixtape. The only reason it's a mixtape is because I don't own the beats; they're leased. But yeah, Dreamcatcher. That's just really a lot of elements of hip hop into one. Like I kind of hit all aspects. I feel beat wise, lyric wise, flow wise, all that kind of stuff. And we just put it together and put it out for the people.
Now you're working on a project right now. What goes into the process of starting? How do you start a project, and how do you what's the process as you go through?
Well, you always got to have inspiration. You got to find that, and I've had a lot of writer's block lately. Not really that I couldn't write anything, inspiration more than that. Just like I don't want to say the same thing over again and kind of thing. And what I'm doing now is I'm actually producing all my own beats. So firsthand, I get to make the beat what I want it to sound like, and you don't always get to do that whenever you're looking for beats. But I'm doing that. And I'm kind of just letting that take its place, and I'm making a lot of beats now, trying to get some hooks going, and get a theme. I've actually got a theme for it. It's going to be called The Curse of a Dreamer. It will be released in the summer of 2016. No, I'm not in any hurry right now, but I'm just trying to get the best project as possible.
Now, is this the first time you're telling anybody about this project?
This is a exclusive
interview here with Shawn Cooley. Next project coming up this summer, and you gotta kind of explain to people too. You're still a full-time student.
I am, and working full time. Mm-hmm. I do construction, which is awesome. I love doing that. I like building stuff with my hands and screwing stuff up and having to rebuild it. But but yeah, I'm always in my mind. Maybe I shouldn't be. I'm always thinking of music moves. I'm always thinking of lyrics, beat ideas, and I'm always just really focused on that. And I mean, it's hard being a student and working and making music, but I'm finding a way to do it, and we'll see how it goes.
And I feel like it's kind of the same boat I'm into. I do sports, and I'm always thinking about sports. How can I do this? How can I do that? And so there's a lot of similarities kind of between, I guess, not going to say journalism, music, but, just kind of the performance industry kind of thing.
Exactly. I mean, you always got to be concentrating on it a little bit if you want to improve.
Yeah.
Like if you want to improve, if you want to stay the same, you could just do it every now and then.
Yeah.
But I'm always in the studio, man. I miss a lot of things. I have a female that really wants. Well, she doesn't want it. She needs more attention than I give her, and she understands though. But I mean, I do what I can.
And talking about some of your songs, you did a music video for "Tales of the Underground," right?
I did.
Is that the only one you did on that album, or
"Walk Alone"? I did a video.
Did that
too,
one? Yeah.
And "Tales from the Underground."
And you did kind of the "Walk Alone." It was kind of a single before the
It was.
mixtape.
I released it around Christmas time of last year, so it's almost been a year, and it's really it's went by fast. But yeah, that was. I wasn't for sure if I was going to put "Walk Alone" on there or just keep it as a single, but I felt like it fit what Dreamcatcher was, and so I just decided to put it on there.
Okay, we're gonna go and let you listen to "Tales from the Underground" with Shawn Cooley by Shawn Cooley, and you didn't have any features on that one.
Matt actually sang some vocals on it. He wasn't featured per se, but he is on it. He's doing part of the chorus. Enjoy that.
All right, here's "Tales from the Underground" with by Shawn Cooley.
Said I love you more than you'll ever know. I'm
Heart on my sleeve, I'm tainted, I often bleed. I'm hated, I often see what they say, what they believe. I'm focused, they know I'm potent, the boldest, my flow heroic. I'm open, so won't you throw it? Devotion is more than lower, but what's happening? I'm a product of the grind. My only fear is losing touch of what I love before my time. My only wish is to paint a vivid picture to the blind, not the physically impaired. I'm talking mentally declined. Can you feel that in your soul? Let the moment take its toll. They're trying to keep me apart, but I got visions of the road. Switching gears, trying to take off, won't let me score like a goalie. I'm giving back what y'all handed me. I'ma take what you owe me. You feel me? 1, 2, you cursed if you're true. 3, 4, you may never even blow. 5, 6, they don't care if you can spit. 7, 8, you better pray they can relate. Ain't no love for an up and comer, but I refuse to be another number. Now the back to be a statistic. They darken their windows tinted. I just hate it too much to love it. Back on my feet, but there's shackles around my ankles a lot. Whatever happened to storytelling? I'm talking hip hop. I'm talking Biggie, the Eminems, the Nas, the Pacs. On the radio, they put the culture in a box. Hold on, let me talk a little quick to keep your attention. I'ma get it, ripping and fitted, I'm independent. Every individual hear me know that I'm different. Every individual living will feel the rhythm. I'ma kill it, I'ma sing, spit it, make it feel the venom. Hit it with an 808, they beat. Hit a bass hit, but I'm coming for the pin, feeling with it. Yeah, Lord knows I've been praying. I just want the success. I pray to God it won't change me. Mom and Dad, I hope you're proud. Just the man that you made me. I know you wanted more from me, but one day I'm finna make it. I'm climbing a mountain, expecting a battle. Hope you understand. I'm giving them rebar, so you know what's underground. Yeah, my point of view from the low end. These are tales from the underground, and they ought to be spoken. You feel me? 1, 2, you cursed if you're true. 3, 4, you may never even blow. 5, 6, they don't care if you can spit. 7, 8, you better pray they can relate. Ain't no love for an up and comer, but I refuse to be another number. Now the back to be a statistic. They darken their windows tinted. I just hate it too much to love it. Ain't no love for an up and comer, but I refuse to be another number. Now the back to be a statistic. They darken their windows tinted. I just hate it too much to love it.
And we're back here on the Stank of the South radio show, TSSN radio, online radio, excuse me. Here with Shawn Cooley, I'm Chandler Morrison. You know, talking about that song, you know, you're kind of talking at the break, kind of about the, you know, this is kind of the start. This song is kind of the start of the movie. Can you talk a little about that?
Yeah, this song kind of sums up the kind of movement that I'm trying to build, and it's more of a blue collar approach. Hence the name that I'm just releasing now. Nobody's ever heard this, so you guys are getting this too. Blue Collar Visionaries. That's kind of the brand that I'm trying to go for, and it's more of just a hard work approach and a like a southern rockish hip hop type of sound. And it's more of the thing like we're not the CEOs, we're the guys digging in the ditch. We're working, we're trying to build it up, and that's just the kind of sound I'm trying to go for because not a lot of hip hop artists out there have that kind of sound right now.
Even at the top, you kind of look, it's all, I mean, even with the Christian rap, it's kind of more of like a, you know, you're kind of just in the studio. They're not, yeah. I mean, they work hard, don't get me wrong, but it's just the kind of vision they have. You know, and talking about music, you're talking about your upcoming album and all this. When you sit down and you write a song, what goes through your mind? What do you do first? Take us through the process.
My process is different every song. I'll be honest with you. It depends on if I have an idea beforehand. But usually, before I've found beats, now I'll make them. I'll make the beat, and it sounds cliche, but I let the beat talk to me, and it tells me kind of what to write. And I think that's more of the Lord telling me what to write. But that's kind of it. But sometimes, like, I have a couple ideas right now that I'm trying to make a beat fit the lyrics that I've kind of wrote down. That's very rare that I do that, but usually I'll make the beat and then put the words together, then mix it, master it, and there you go.
While we got Shawn Cooley in the studio, I thought, you know what? Why don't we get him to do a freestyle right here live on the Stank of the South radio show?
All right.
And I've got a beat for you here.
Okay.
And it is now this is the instrumental, I believe, to "Believe Me" featuring Lil Wayne featuring Drake.
Yeah, I can handle that.
And so I was gonna give this to you, let you just kind of do what you do.
All right, give me just a second. Let me get some water.
And we'll go from there, and then we'll talk a little about little sports. But here's freestyle here by Shawn Cooley.
Check.
And here we go.
All right. Look, got a lot to say. I ain't gonna play like I'm Tebow in the NFL. I'm trying to find a way, so Sequatchie County, Tennessee. I put that on my plate. It's a shame if they don't place me top 5 in the state. Whack rappers open their mouth, all I hear is white noise. You ain't gotta go to Denver to find the coldest white boy. Them rappers trying to check me, that's a check of my void. So I'm throwing my life away. Well, I guess that's my choice. Feel that? That's some heavy flow for you, boy. I know that I be sick. Here's an antidote for you. Kill the track with no warning. They ain't laughing no more. I had to raise the bar. Now I'm feeling so sore. Lyrical murderer, off the top like convertibles. Heard they murmuring over a certain one they concerned with. Yeah, I'm ill, so sick. Hop on the track and it's permanent. Boy, I been fly, been bumping. Check out my turbulence, huh? They don't even know what I'm about to do to them. Had them for a second, but now I think I be losing. I'm painted a picture, but that depiction is illusion. Raised in the valley, that's right. I'm a hooligan. So fancy, no Iggy thought I would tell him that. Sweetness, Walter Payton got them haters running back. Long sleeve plaid shirt, like a lumberjack. Stone cold, boy, I make them wonder where the stunner at. Cold flow in August, where the summer at. An open-minded kid from the south, finna shut it down. Dunlap, Tennessee, that's where I be. I wasn't supposed to rap. Hi, hater, that was my beat. I don't care if you don't like me. Hip-hop in my veins stuck like an IV. Trash rappers are poison like some ivy. I'm paving the way for the ones who be behind me. Dope as a youngin', been in the game since 19. Now I'm 22 and they checking me like some Nike. I don't hear the critics, so I'm definitely eating the blind. See, I see my vision clear, my focus solely on the rhyme scheme. Believe me, Cools. Yeah. That's all I got for you, I think. Yeah.
You heard it first here on TSSN Radio. That is Shawn Cooley in a freestyle here. Now I gotta be honest with you. When you do a freestyle, I've been kind of in the hip hop shoes before.
Yeah.
We actually, and a lot of people don't know this. We actually did a track together with. I was part of No Shame. We did one. It's called Haters.
Yep.
Haters. What'd you think about that project though?
Oh, it was good. Like I liked the lyrics in it, and I liked, just how we delivered what we wanted to say. kind of thing. Like, I mean, not everything's going to be flashy. Not everything is going to, be something to dance to. Sometimes you gotta explain what you want to say, and that was one of those cases where we did that.
Oh yeah, and going out from your freestyle, do you have a lot of things you kind of have in your mind? Just kind of, if someone asks you, like, when someone asks you for freestyle, what do you do? Do you just
It depends. It really honestly depends on the beat. If I'm feeling the beat, I can usually muster up about a minute or two. If I'm not, if the beat's hard to freestyle to, I might just I might just pass on it and find another beat or something. But usually, a lot of times I'll have people have words thrown at me, and I'll just kind of go with that and just say the words that they do. Sometimes I can do that. Sometimes it's harder to do, but that's kind of the thing.
All right, now we got to talk some sports because this is a sports show.
Let's do it.
The sports.
I'm all about
it. Shawn over here, also a big supporter of the Tennessee Vols.
Huge.
Go Big Orange, right?
Huge. Rocky Top, baby.
Rocky Top. And repping the Atlanta Braves cap.
I am, even though I'm slightly disappointed in the direction that we've been going. But
I mean, they kind of traded the entire team almost.
They've kind of understood. I mean, ever since the B.J. Upton signing, it's kind of been rolling downhill. But I really think they're going to be all right in a couple of years. They're getting a lot of young talent, so it's hard to watch now, which is terrible. But
and it kind of seems like they've not been the World Series champ, but they've been getting deep in the playoffs though. So
they had, but it's probably not coming this year.
Yeah,
so
I understand.
Legends know.
You heard it first from Shawn Cooley here. A lot of firsts in the studio today. But talking about switching over to college football. Okay. There's always something to talk about in college football. Always. And you got Tennessee, who will be at the Outback Bowl, okay? And I think that'll be a successful outing. I'm not sure how they'll go against Northwestern.
Oh, yeah.
There's been a lot of, transition this year. I think Northwestern is a better team than what we're looking at, even though they're 12th ranked. That should say it's a good team, but I think they're a better team than what they look at because the Big Ten this year has been really competitive. And as much as I'm an SEC fan, and I hate to say that, Big Ten right now is probably better across the board than the SEC.
If you look at the top four teams from the Big Ten, you got Michigan State, Ohio State, Michigan, and Iowa. Those can match just about anybody right now. Even though Tennessee did kick the crap out of Iowa in the bowl game the previous year, we're not going to talk about that.
We're not going to talk about that. That's last season. That's under the bridge.
But yeah, I would agree. I may not agree on as a whole. Because the bottom part of the Big Ten is pretty awful. You got the Purdue's of the world, you got those kind of teams. But, we got Vandy and those kind of teams too. But
I think we'll see with this Northwestern game just how good their bottom echelon is.
Yeah.
Because I think Northwestern being ranked 12th, that's – you got to give some credit to them.
I would. I think – if you're asking my opinion, I think they're slightly overrated and overranked a little bit.
And maybe they're still in the top 25.
Yeah, they are. They are. But I think Northwestern, I've watched some film on them. I know I sound like a coach. I've watched some film on them, and they look to me a lot like Missouri did with a good defense and a very below-average offense. Mm-hmm. Which, they're probably a little bit better on offense than Missouri is because they were awful. But
yeah, and talking about this Outback Bowl, we got to transition into next year because once you get to bowl season, it's about what's going on next year. Unless you're in the playoff, it's about what's going on next year and what transition. And Tennessee's still young. They've got a lot of juniors.
They are.
Their success could be hindered on this offseason.
Right.
Come April, they could have some trouble, and here's why. This is Butch Jones' press conference on the 7th, December 7th, about the Outback Bowl. Well, hold on a second. About the Outback Bowl.
That's just the world of college football. Transition is going to happen, and that's just part of it. And it's the world that we live in. It's instant gratification. It's if they can better themselves as well, we'll support them. But, not as of right now. But as you know, it's kind of become the norm in college football.
And Butch Jones there talking about, players going to the NFL earlier, and kind of it's happened earlier with football, I think, over the years that people just, hey, let's go to the pros. instead of going in our senior season. But I agree with it because most of the time they've got their degree after 3 years.
Yeah.
Most of the athletes they do,
Right.
and especially if they're at a big time university, they train them to do that, so they'll have a degree before they get out, and they don't have to deal with going down the road, and it costs the university more money for them to come back and get their degree.
Right.
But do you think that all these players will stay, and what do you think the situation is with that?
I believe at the most, I think maybe Cam Sutton will leave. That's me being logical, and Cam Sutton may be a first or second round pick if we're being honest. I mean, his stock did go down a little bit towards the end of the year, or towards the midpoint of the year, around the Florida game. But Jalen Reeves-Maben, I think he's going to stay because he's a tackling machine. But I think he's going to raise his stock next year. And I think right now if he went, he might be a 3rd to 6th round pick. Yeah. That's my opinion. I hadn't listened to Mel Kiper or anybody, but that's my opinion. I think he should stay. I wish they all would stay as a fan, but I think Cam Sutton is more likely to leave than the others.
And I think this is going to be – I remember 2 or 3 years ago they were talking on ESPN about this, and they were saying, yeah, Tennessee's going to be good, but they have to do it, and they were talking about doing it this year. They had to do it this year because those players were going to leave if that happened. Now, this is a different situation than an Alabama team who last year lost in the playoffs, didn't get a national championship.
Right.
For that's different. They reload.
Yeah.
Okay?
Every year.
And they've won championships. Probably the senior on that roster has won a championship, okay? With Tennessee, though, they haven't won a championship. I think the goal is still there. I think they still want to win it. If they can keep all those people there, all these players that are going to be seniors this year, I think they will have success. But it's going to hinge on April.
Yeah.
How many of them say, you know what? I need to make money. I need money, and that's fine. I understand that. That's kind. I'm all right with that, And I was listening to Colin Cowherd's show the other day, and Mark Richt not Mark Richt. I don't know why. We're talking about Mark Richt here later. Spoiler. But no, I was watching John Calipari. He was talking, and he was saying, you know what? We got these kids playing 1 year in basketball, and they're done.
Yep.
And he said, and it's not the kid's fault. We tell the team. I go to the team every day. He said. I tell the team every time I talk to him, I said, you realize this is a 19-year-old kid.
Yeah.
You realize he's not fully developed.
Right.
Right. He's 19, deal with it.
Yep.
But in college football, it's later in the game. They can't leave it till at least their sophomore year, I don't believe.
Junior year. You can be a redshirt sophomore, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
But you have to play your junior year, I believe, to leave. And that's kind of one of the things that I don't agree with. I think if they got their degree, fine, go.
Right.
But, you got to look as a player. When you commit to a university, you may commit for a 1-year contract. That's basically how the scholarships go.
Yep.
But you're committing for 4 years.
Exactly.
Basically what you're doing. And if your stock changes, stock changes. And I understand there are certain situations where money is needed. I mean, I was watching John Calipari. He said, I walked into houses where the floor was dirt, recruiting a kid. And when they said I'm going to the NBA and they're a first round draft pick, I say, you know what, I ain't gonna stop you.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
That's the money, know. And I think Tennessee is going that way. But by the way, you look at this season, you can't tell me a 1-loss Tennessee wouldn't be in the playoffs right now.
They would be in it in a heartbeat if they win the SEC championship.
Yeah,
that's the only criteria. If they lost that game, they're not going to be.
Well, let's say hypothetically that Tennessee had 1 loss to Arkansas. Okay, and they beat Florida, so they would have the head-to-head there. Looking at this, I think they would be in the SEC championship. They would be automatic because they beat Florida. But looking at this, they'd be playing Ole Miss.
Right.
Ole Miss, here and there. I think they catch them on a bad night, they go to the college football playoff.
Yeah.
And with a resume of Oklahoma, Alabama, Florida, you've all beaten.
You're in it, yeah.
You're in the college football playoff.
And you may be number 1 seed. It depends.
If Clemson is still where they are, I think you're a number 2 seed just because Clemson
is undefeated.
Is in the South and they're undefeated.
Yeah.
I think maybe Michigan State is over you.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, but you're a 2 and 3. You're about in the same position that Alabama is right now. I think they give the benefit of the doubt to the SEC team now with the rankings because they put Alabama in front of Michigan State. I honestly believe Michigan State should be in front of Alabama.
Yeah,
looking at the polls,
you can say that.
You can argue
if Tennessee if Tennessee loses the Arkansas game, but they win Florida, they win Alabama,
Yeah.
but they win Oklahoma. That's an out of conference power.
Big one, yeah. And kudos to Butch Jones for scheduling an Oklahoma team.
Yeah.
And he may not have been scheduled. He may have been scheduled before he was.
He did not schedule it, but whoever scheduled it. I mean, I was pretty upset when they scheduled Oregon a couple years back.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no sense in doing that when we play SEC. But since we're building, we're getting built.
And by the way, I looked over the other day. Past 7 years, the only win against a Southeastern Conference team by Oregon was Tennessee.
Yep.
And they had played
and we were
10,
bad.
and they beat us twice, and that was they were 8-2 against.
One of those teams was coached by Derek Dooley, so that shouldn't be any. Reason to throw a party.
I mean, really, when you go in and beat Tennessee, at that point when you go and beat Tennessee, you're like, But Tennessee, I believe they're one of these teams that could do that. Now, I was listening to the Colin Cowherd show. I listened to him a lot. He's pretty good doing what he does. He's pretty good.
He's edgy. He's edgy.
He's edgy. I like him. And he was talking about how the Big Ten was better overall, and I do feel him. But he said SEC is crap.
That's what I saw the exact same thing, and I disagree with that.
I do too. I'm glad you saw it because now I have something to talk about.
I disagree.
We breathe in the South. They don't.
Yep.
And he's out in California right now. He was up in Bristol.
Yep.
He hasn't really been in the South.
Right.
I think if he was, he would see, look, they may be better teams up north, but you're not going to have as many fans. You're not going to have as many heart. It's not going to matter as much. Ohio State, Columbus, Ohio breeds Ohio State football,
Right.
But Tuscaloosa lives it.
Yeah, there's probably no comparison if we're being honest.
Yeah, Columbus may breathe it in, but Alabama breathes it out as well. That's just how it goes.
No comparison.
I don't agree with that. And he's talking about Iowa. And I do agree with what he said with Iowa. We don't need to schedule cupcakes. That's just that doesn't need to happen. What was it at? He was talking about Baylor, Iowa, scheduling cupcakes. He don't think Iowa's legitimate, which I see his point.
Yeah, I didn't either until I watched the championship game, and I was like, maybe they're a pretty good team. But
yeah. But I think, too, they had some easy teams. And you got to think Michigan State's beat up. If Iowa had won that, Michigan State would have said, look, we were beat up. We played better teams. They didn't have to play Michigan. They had to play Ohio State.
Yeah.
And that's just how it went. But also I want to talk about Mark Richt. And, why I'm getting this soundbite rate, he was fired from Georgia. And you remember this, don't you?
I do. I remember the day. I remember.
I was shocked. I was utterly and totally shocked.
I wasn't shocked because I had a feeling they were about to make a huge mistake. Because you don't fire a guy. He went 9-3, 9-3. That's a very good record.
Yeah.
And they lost Nick Chubb.
And by the way, I talked about this last week, but they're 2 plays away from being a national champion 2 years ago,
Right.
Or 2012, 3 years ago. And I had the soundbite on there from the Alabama Georgia game. They're a play away.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me Georgia wouldn't have beat.
Oh, they would have. They would have done the same thing Alabama did to them.
Yeah, as closely as those two teams played, Georgia would have gone in there, and they probably would have demolished them even more. Because I think that Alabama beat them with the rushing attack, but Georgia was a little bit more balanced. And had that been against Notre Dame, I think they would have absolutely tore Notre Dame to shreds.
A lot of teams that year would have beat Notre Dame that bad. Let's just be honest.
And it'd have been it'd have been worse than the Manti Te'o scandal.
I forgot about that until you just said.
Everybody forgets about it, but I remember that well, and I thought about it the other day. I was like, wait a second, that happened at the same time.
This this actually happened to a human.
Yeah.
Like that just.
But Rick now at Miami. Here's your press conference.
I don't want to make a lot of promises, other than I want to promise that we're going to get to work, and we're going to try to earn the right for victory. I'm going to ask our players to take care of business academically. I want them to behave socially, and I want them to do their very best in every area of their life and represent this university in the right way, but also set themselves up for the future by growing into men that can become wonderful husbands and fathers and leaders in the communities that they choose to live in when it's all done.
And whether he wins a championship in the future or not, I could care less. But people just want to down Rick. They want to say, oh, he wasn't a good coach at Georgia. Oh, he wasn't a good coach at Georgia. He built young men. That's what matters, okay? And we hadn't talked about this, but Shawn Cooley over here was the quarterback, Sequatchie County.
Yes.
And, I mean, you had a role, but, I mean, when you looked at your backfield.
Oh, my God. Like, here's the thing. We had, Hunter Lewis, Justice Stewart, Jerry Fain. We was loaded, and we didn't have to throw the ball. We didn't, but it seemed like every time we did, it was a 50-yard play action pass touchdown because it was because
they were expecting you to run right down the middle.
I would look at defenses, and they would literally have 9 guys in the box, and I'm like, do you see? Nah, we'll run power. All right, we're gonna run power.
No, it's more like looking down. Down. We'll run power. We'll run power. Coach Barger there.
Shout out to Chad Barger, by the way.
That's the second show in a row I mentioned his name.
Yeah, we would just run it down people's throats, and he knew it, and we knew it. We liked to do it though.
Now your year when you were a senior, that was the year y'all played Good Pasture, was it?
Oh yeah, and a lot of people don't realize who their quarterback is. Keenan Reynolds of Navy.
Yeah, and he plays for Navy, and he does like an awesome job. He
set the touchdown record of rushing touchdowns.
And the Army-Navy game is this Saturday, I believe. So if you get a chance, watch that. That Keenan Reynolds guy he's from Good Pasture. He plays at Navy.
He was the opposing quarterback of yours truly here.
Yeah. And I remember several people talking about him. All I remember about that game was I don't even remember that game. I remember the Bledsoe game.
Oh, yeah.
That was probably the best game that you remember.
Ever. We was down, what was it, 20 – we were down at least 17 points at halftime. It might have been 21. And we come back, tied up in the fourth quarter, go into overtime. We win by 1 point. They miss they miss an extra point. It was glorious.
And snow falling down right at the end. As soon as the field goal made, the snow started falling. I was there. I remember. I didn't play at that point, but I remember that game, and that's the first time I'd ever rushed the field for a game. And it was just one of those moments you were like, playoffs, arrival, coming down to overtime.
I remember
you couldn't have wrote a better script.
I remember they scored a touchdown in overtime. They scored it, and then they missed the extra point, and I was like, let's do it. Let's go. And we ran the same play 4 times in a row, scored. And Rodney was a long snapper, and I was the holder for the extra point, and I said, do not bounce it. And he bounced it, and I caught it and put it on my knee pad, and they kicked it through off my knee pad, and I was like, it's meant to be that we beat them. So it was really
of course, you had the kicker of a lifetime there.
Martinez, man. Him and his brother both, man. They were.
Now, who was there when you were a senior?
It'd be Juan. Lefty. Lupe. He could be kicking at Tennessee if he wanted to.
Yeah, he's probably more of a soccer player, wasn't he?
Unbelievable. Yeah, unbelievable.
They were all. But I remember that year, I think y'all were playing Notre Dame, and he was like a 50-yarder.
Yeah.
And they're all over the news, like, where's this guy from? You know, and they were like, and they asked him a question, like, or someone had asked him a question, like, where are you going to play out when you get out of here? He's like, I play soccer.
Yeah. I remember Lupe kicked one. We was playing CCS in the pouring rain. He kicked a 55-yarder, and I was like, I don't even know how that's possible.
How are we losing? Like, how do we ever lose? You know, that kind of thing. You know, against CCS too, who should have a good kicker.
Yeah,
I'm amazed every time I see a CCS football game that they don't just like go to the 50-yard line and just kick field goal. You win every game.
Stock up points.
Yeah. But to get back to Rick, we got off track there. I know.
It's cool.
It's cool. Hey, anytime you mention the Sequatchie County football, it's all right. And Coach Barger.
Yeah.
Shout out to Coach Barger again for fourth time on my show as a whole. Rick, I think he's in a good position there.
Oh yeah, I agree. I don't see a lot of success these first year or two because he's going to be in the position of he's disciplining these guys.
Yeah,
he's probably weeding out a lot of them that are not going to fit in with him and not buy in.
Yeah,
but he's always been a great recruiter. And just a good guy. I mean, really, I don't know him, but he seems like a good guy.
and there's a lot of talent in Miami. Not at the program, but in Miami, the South Florida talent. And you got to think, a lot of people said, if he goes to South Carolina, which I knew was never going to happen. Everybody's like, oh, he's not going to have as much talent. He's not going to have this, blah, blah, blah.
No.
I mean, it don't take talent. It takes if you put Rick in a place long enough, he'll recruit.
I agree. I mean, South Carolina, that would have been rough anyway.
And by the way, Muschamp's taking over South Carolina. He goes from Florida head coach down to a defensive coordinator position at Auburn. Doesn't have success there. How do you hire him at South Carolina?
I want to know what he's doing to get jobs. Is what I want to know. Like, I mean, our defense sucked at Auburn, but yeah,
I'm Muschamp.
I mean, I'm glad. I'm glad to see that happen. I mean, he may kick our butt, but I doubt it. But
yeah,
I mean, who did they get to replace Richt? Kirby Smart. Is he proven? No,
he's not proven. I think on the defensive side, he's proven.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure as a head coach because let me tell you something. As a head coach, there's a lot more things that go on.
Yeah,
I mean. With the coordinator position, you get to coach. You get to get down with the kids, say, look, this is what we're doing, blah, blah, blah. You're still managing a little bit because you manage your assistant coach. But as a coordinator, you look over and you just get to coach. And that's the fun part about it. With a head coach, you're having to schedule. You're having to manage. You're having to make sure your kids are doing good in the class. You have to do this. You have to do this. Assistant coordinator, you just coach.
Exactly. I mean.
And so I don't think Muschamp's ready for those pressures yet. He wasn't ready at Florida.
Not even close.
Not even close. Somehow he still beat us.
He didn't even recruit good, and that's what he's known for.
Yeah, he wasn't even a great recruiter, and I just don't know how he's going to. I think that's going to be a train wreck in South Carolina.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't
either.
Being a Tennessee fan. I mean, I like to see them kids do good.
But Rick, he's at Miami, and are we going to see another 30 for 30 documentary on the U after Rick's all said and done?
I mean, it may be a different kind of 30 for 30. It may be that he rose them from the ashes kind of thing, or it may be, I mean, it may not even make that. He may just fail. I mean, you never know. Really, with today, they may not give him. If you thought Georgia was bad about wanting to win and firing coaches, Miami's not any better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
they've got all the talent in the world, but they're in a city that could care less about the program.
Yeah.
When you're in a city that's culturally diverse and has a lot of attraction, I'll give you an example. Chattanooga is just like Miami.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize this, but Chattanooga football struggles because there's so many things to do around the city on a Saturday afternoon.
Yep.
And when you do have a home game, besides homecoming, you can't fill a stadium.
Exactly.
I remember there was a game against Citadel. And I'm not even sure I'm not even sure if they had played Jacksonville State here. I'm not sure that they would have filled the stadium.
Right.
They played against Citadel, which was the biggest game of the season. They go in, they win the SoCon.
Nobody.
I mean, I was at that game. There was not a lot of people there. I mean, there was more than you would think, but they didn't fill the stadium. Soccer fills the stadium, and the football can't.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it goes. And and Miami's one of those cities, by the way. You have loads of talent. Of course, Chattanooga, I wouldn't say they have loads of talent, but the state of Tennessee, the surrounding area, you're right in the middle of SEC country.
Exactly.
I mean, literally the only reason Chattanooga, UTC, doesn't go up to Division I, look who you got to compete with.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Okay, for recruits, you look up Tennessee, Vandy, which is not really a recruiting.
MTSU even.
MTSU, they have to compete with MTSU. You look down, Birmingham. You got Alabama now. You got Atlanta down that way. I mean, you've got 4 major metropolitan areas within an hour and a half drive.
Yeah, I don't blame them for staying
you can't do that. But let's go back to Miami, Georgia. Rick, actually, I don't know if you saw this, but Mark Richt did actually stumble and say Georgia at his press conference.
I didn't see that.
He said, "I'm glad to be at the University of Georgia." I mean Miami. I told myself I wouldn't say that today, but yeah, I mean, looking back, I think for Rick it's the right move. For Georgia, not so much.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it may end up being here in a few years, but they want a championship now. Is what they want, and I don't think Kirby Smart's going to deliver that next year or the year after. I don't see him getting past the top 2 teams in the East, in my opinion, Florida and Tennessee. That's going to be rough. I mean, you never know. I didn't think Florida would be in the position they are this year, and I was completely wrong. So.
Yeah, and that's one of the things you got to look at. SEC football is always going to be big, so I don't think Miami's going to get the what they need for coverage. And we're going to go from there, and I'm going to talk for a minute. I don't know how much you know about Sequatchie Valley basketball.
Not too much anymore. Whenever Cartwright played, I knew a little bit, and that's about it. I'm in the studio most nights.
So Daniel Cartwright when he played.
Oh yeah. I mean, all those guys.
That was a great team, by the way. I think it was the year after you graduated.
Yep.
They went to that sectional run, 29-4.
They won 27 straight, did they not?
Yeah, 27 straight. And golly.
You just don't do that. I mean, it don't matter what level of basketball or any sport you're playing. You just don't win that many games in a row.
Yeah, and it's ungodly how many games they won, and they still didn't get to the state tournament. And I don't know. I think Howard was just a good team, and they were a few plays away from beating Howard and going to the state tournament.
Just takes one game. Just takes one game in that atmosphere.
And when you win so many games, you're bound to lose one sometime. Yeah. They lost their last 2 games they played, Livingston, Howard, and all it takes is losing a couple games. And they had I wouldn't say they had an easy schedule, but it was an easier schedule.
It wasn't very difficult. I mean, a lot of parts.
I mean, Signal Mountain wasn't as good as they were in the past few years. Notre Dame, decent. Bledsoe County,
they were pretty good.
They were pretty good. They were more of a 2-horse show instead of across the board.
Right.
And then, of course, Grundy County, you never can count on Grundy County. I mean, actually, I was surprised. They played pretty close with the Notre Dame squad. They're really, really good right now. And that was last night, Tuesday night. But, I mean, that was a good team. But I want to talk some Sequatchie Valley basketball. I want to talk about, is Van Buren too dominant right now? Is that the case? And I will play this clip from Coach Dustin Sullivan. He's out at Van Buren County, the head coach out there, if I can find it. I thought I had it here. Yep, I do. And this is a little clip from him, a little soundbite after the Sale Creek game last Friday.
That's what we talked about Tuesday night when I told you we've got good shooters. When we're shooting the way we're capable of, we can be really good. And I told the guys in the locker room, you're never as good as you might be on your best night or your best shooting night, And I think Sale Creek had an off night and we had an above average night, and it just kind of, and it kind of steamrolled from there. They're a lot better.
By the way, Sale Creek, the number 2 team in that district, and when you look across the board, Van Buren County is going to dominate on the boys' side. The girls' side, probably going to dominate, not as much as the boys will. The boys will always get farther because I talked about last week the gap they have to overcome with the girls. It's a big gap. They lose 95-65 in the sectionals, hosting a sectional game. 30-point loss, okay, and they were giving all they got. They couldn't get to sectionals. Boys barely made it into state. Very, very close game against Good Pasture. Good Pasture.
I don't want to talk about that.
What shut y'all down that game, by the way?
Man, I'll tell you, they were just good. Let's go ahead and say that. But I mean, we come out firing, man. We come out, we drive down the field and we score a touchdown. We get a penalty for holding, and we have to kick a field goal, and we kind of just get slowed down. We probably wouldn't have won that game, to be honest. We could have kept it a lot closer. But
you still see like losing by 2 touchdowns or a touchdown or something like that.
A couple, probably. I mean, we threw the ball really well that game, and that's weird because we didn't ever do that. Coach Barker was like, "Oh, we're just going to throw it now. Let's go see what we got." Yeah,
and talking about like I said, Good Pasture, Van Buren County doing good. They're really, really good shooters. And these kids, they play up playing AAU basketball. Playing AAU basketball, and there's, I mean, honestly, I'll go ahead and tell you, I've heard it from several people. I heard it from coaches, I heard it from the Whitwell coach, I heard it from other coaches in the district. They don't have anything else to do out there. And not to be mean, they know that. I mean, they don't have football. I'm talking about sports-wise. I'm not talking about just county-wise. I'm talking about sports-wise. They don't have, they don't have football. They don't have these major sports. They have basketball, baseball, softball. I think they got cross-country, maybe track. That's all they got. I don't think they have track. I think they have cross-country because they don't have track out there. And not to make fun of them, but that's just how it is, And you got to that school is built around the gym. The school is built around the gym. The center of the school is the gym. They play basketball out there. They do good in basketball. And now they've had success in basketball. Actually, I talked to the coaches the other day. They're hosting the district tournament, first of all. And then second of all, they're getting a new court during the Christmas break. Merry Christmas, Justin Sullivan. Merry Christmas, Cheryl Cole. We're giving you a new gym. Not new gym. We're giving you a new court. We're working on a new gym. It's going to be out here in the middle of nowhere, where the other one is. Now, I can say it's in the middle of nowhere because I live in the middle of nowhere, too. I live in Dunlap, Tennessee. which is a little bit more connected. But Van Buren County, they have 111's, that vein. We have 2 veins, I guess 111, 28. East Valley's the vein, don't you think?
East Valley, that's God's country, right?
God's country right there. By the way, Shawn lives on East Valley. If anybody wants to stalk him over there,
baby.
Now your studio is actually behind your house, right? I've been in there.
It's in my garage, man.
In your garage.
It's literally like I build it up like I put like a 6x8 room. I put a 6x8 room in there and filled it with like echo proof. And just, I have a desktop computer in there now. Pretty good blue microphone. I'm about to upgrade soon, but yeah, that's pretty much it. And a little sound system, and we're good to go.
Now you were talking about basketball earlier. You're not really a basketball fan, are you?
I'd rather play it than watch it, especially NBA. They don't play defense, so while they're going to score 200 points each. So college basketball, I like watching the tournament. I can't watch a regular season. That's just my preference. So
unless it's like 2 good teams, maybe.
Yeah, like if it's a Duke North Carolina like MASH clash up or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah,
something like that.
But yeah, we're talking about Sequatchie County. They're rising up a little bit. Girls beat Signal Mountain and Aaron Sanders, their big key player there, 66-58 in overtime. And that's just. I wasn't at that game, but I saw that score, and I talked to some people about the game, and it seemed to me like Sequatchie County is getting their roll on, but it also seemed to me like Signal Mountain just didn't want to play that game, didn't want to show up, and it's kind of how it goes. Everybody always doubts Sequatchie County in basketball, and when they do, it comes back to bite them. That's why there's 2 games in the season, one to doubt Sequatchie County, and then another one to take them seriously. That's about how it goes. Early in the season, Sequatchie County looks good. Later in the season,
that's about any sport with us.
Yeah. If you play us twice, it's going to be that way.
Yeah.
But what's okay, they're going to have to rebuild. I watched the game last night against CCS. They're not the same team. You have to replace 5. Count them. 5 seniors that took your team to sectionals last year. You got 2 juniors, I believe he said. And with those juniors, they've not had a lot of playing time. You know, they've had JV playing time or late game playing time when you're up by 50.
It's not the same.
It's not the same as in game. When you're having to run the offense, it's not the same. But they're having to rebuild, and I think they will eventually. It's going to take them a year or 2. But they've got the talent in place to eventually do that. But like I said, Grundy County doing a lot better. They 69-60. They've got 2 brand new coaches, I believe, on the women's and the men's side. And they're doing good. Girls get a win against Notre Dame. Boys get a close loss, and that's so good for the boys to have a close loss like that with Grundy County, even against a team like Notre Dame, who is just off the charts, just good. And that's just how the Valley goes. Now I do want to talk for a second before I get off here, and I made some comments last week, and I wanted to clarify what I meant by those. I was talking about Notre Dame, the talent gap in 3A. I don't want to say that I don't like a school, and I don't like a school. I mean, I try not to be preferential. I like every school I come into contact with for the most part. So you look over and people say, "Well, you don't like Notre Dame." I love Notre Dame. I like Notre Dame, but I don't like what they represent. And I don't know if you have an opinion on this, Shawn, but I have what they're against. What I'm against is them being a private school in a public league.
Yeah.
You had to play against them a few times?
We played them. They in football definitely. I mean, we kicked the crap out of them. They wasn't very good. They were rebuilding around then, but
they have the ability to just say, "Look, we're going to get our athletes and go," and from there they just took off.
They can just get them when they want to, and I'm not.
I mean, they can't they don't have scholarships in the public school league, but they can pretty much recruit.
Exactly.
Say, look, we want you to come here. You're going to have to pay a little bit, but we want you to come here and compete against the best. And I wanted to make those comments known. It's not that I don't like. I love Notre Dame. I love CCS. I love those schools and Boyd Buchanan and all that, but I don't like what they represent. I think I was misquoted or I said it a different way last week. And I apologize for that. If anybody takes it, if you're from Notre Dame, CCS, anything like that, it's not that I don't like your school. I like your school. I love the coaches. I'm good friends with the AD at Notre Dame. I'm good friends with the basketball coach at Notre Dame, and get to talk to some of these coaches. I just don't like what they represent, and it's kind of like being a Christian. you hate the sin, you love the sinner.
Right.
I hate that they're a private school in a public league, but you know what? They're here. So I've got to do that. And that's kind of the way I feel about it. And I don't want anybody trying to take it and say, oh, I hate Notre Dame. Don't try to take it over the Notre Dame athletic director. He said he hated Notre Dame. Don't let his radio come over here anymore. No. That was some comments I made last week. And that's what I meant by those. I didn't mean anything negative toward any school. I didn't mean anything negative toward anybody in particular. Just the idea of it. Because I've done I guess you would call it I did a column. That's what it's called. I was looking for the word. I did a column, and Shawn, you need to check this out, about private schools and public schools. And the numbers show across the board, yeah, we need to split. But in football, the numbers are even.
Right.
I think it was 20% of the schools in the public school league are private. And then you look over, and across the board, across all sports, over the past 10 years, it took me a while to get these stats. I had to get them all up by myself. I went over the past 10 years in every sport that has a regular schedule, a regular district setup, like football, basketball, that kind of thing, like 8 sports. Past 10 years, 49% of the championships are won by private schools. 19% of the schools are winning 49% of the championships. But in football, 20% of the schools are winning 19% of the championships. But you also got to look over. You got Alcoa, Maryville, who are both open enrollment. They're not. They're public schools, but they're open enrollment. Right. So anybody can pretty much go there if you really, really have the urge to go to Alcoa or Maryville, which a lot of people do.
A lot of people do. Yeah, just put me on that football team.
It's almost like having a private school.
Yeah.
Not that they are, but I did want to clarify those comments from last week, and that's my extra point for the week. But Shawn, what song do you want to send us out on? What? And you're going to talk about it a little bit.
Let's go with.
You got 2 choices here that I got on the thing. You got "Feel Alive" or "Mine Right."
Just pick one. We can talk about it. Whatever one you want.
All right, we'll go with "Feel Alive." And talk about this before we go, because we're going to end on this real quick.
Don't get creeped out by this song. This is this is a story only. It's kind of a weird song. I think you'll like it. It's older Eminem style. We put some electric guitar in it. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Randy Sanders. He sings the hook and put some electric guitar in it. Some of you Valley people may know him. He was the lead singer for Camp Normal. Yeah. Hope you guys like this. Appreciate you for having me on. And go check out my stuff on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, all that.
Yeah, y'all got to check out Shawn Cooley. And you say you had an event coming up.
I do. Oh yeah, I forgot. Thanks for
almost forgot about talk about that.
January the 9th, I'll be in Bledsoe County at the fairgrounds. It's the indoor complex, and we got a couple bands coming up there, and they invited me up there to have a set. Me and Matt Brock will be up there. We'll be doing some stuff that you heard today, and it's going to be fun, so come out and join us.
All right, and also Shawn Cooley coming out next summer. You heard it first here on TSS and Radio, the Stank of the South radio show with your project called
The Curse of a Dreamer.
The Curse of a Dreamer. Check Shawn Cooley out. Go like him on Facebook. Go find him. You got Twitter? You don't have Twitter, do you?
I do, but I never use it, so don't even worry about it.
Don't worry about his Twitter. Go check him out on SoundCloud. Any other music sites you're on?
I think that's it.
SoundCloud, Facebook. Go check him out. Search up Shawn Cooley.
That's right.
And tell him Stank sent you. This is Stank of South Podcast. I'm Chandler Morrison. Shawn Cooley, thank you for being on today. And this is Feel Alive by Shawn Cooley featuring Randy Sanders.
That's right.
I'm Martin Luther King, you will be Coretta. I'll be the king, you're my queen forever. I had a small taste of it, I'm a fiend for heaven. Now let me have you, I love you, don't you know that? Goodbye letter written in my notepad. It was signed by you really wrote that. P.S. I ain't never gonna come back. Baby, look, I know we had our differences, but I've been thinking hard. I'm tired of leaving voicemails, why don't you ever call? I've been working on a car ever since you've been gone, and if it ever starts, I'ma find where you are. Does that make me insane? Do you feel good about yourself? What you think is a game? I've been under everything except the pain I've obtained. It's like I only take cash, cause I feel I can't change.
I can see you no more, no matter how hard I try. How hard I try. I can deal with that, it makes me feel alive. Feel alive.
Let me tell you something real quick. I still crave you. They can talk, they can put me in the labels. They were watching when I was on the tables, when I was hiding nighttime, providing the anger. I'm telling you, I nearly killed myself. Handgun to my temple, I wanted to stop. I really felt there was no life left. You tainted my soul, is that what you want? You're the only one I really ever had. You were my first, I'll make you my last. Remember, we were filling to the top of the glass. Then let the whole night pass. But enough of the past, we've been apart for a while, I can loosen my grasp. I'm a student to prove when I'm pushing past all the wrath. Now I'm choosing my path.
I can see you no more, no matter how hard I try. How hard I try.